Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's Joel Beya, and I'm here outside Stamford Bridge with the one and only Mr. Matisse, representing Chelsea. It's not been good, baby.
Sticky situation, Joel. Very, very tough times for me. I am on the verge of, giving it all up, thinking, what industry have I really walked into right now? Do I need to go back to Sainsbury's? Do I need to, start putting, bread on shelves again? It's an interesting time for me.
Listen, you're a brilliant content creator, that's for sure. And guys, please make sure you check out his stuff after you've seen this video. His links are in the description. Matisse, you're doing really, really well across the board. But your team, Chelsea, the struggle has been real. So let's take it back. We were here a couple of weeks ago after the transfer window was closed, and we were like, look, man, you've got your man, you've got Enzo, you've got everyone you need. Surely now Potter should be kicking on now. But it just hasn't really gone well. Obviously, the last good result was Liverpool, to be honest, right? And then after that, you drew against Fulham, which is when we were here doing the preview. You drew against West Ham 1-0. You lost against Dortmund, and you've now lost against Southampton. Talk to us. What's been happening since?
And I wouldn't even call that Liverpool result a good result, because that Liverpool team is literally one of the poorest Liverpool teams we've seen in many years. They're only now just starting to get back to grips with things, with some injuries coming back. So we could have easily and should have won that game. I think for me, we just can't buy a win. Literally, that's what people are telling us. We cannot buy a win. We've spent money, we've brought in players in. Yes, they're going to take time to integrate. It's going to be difficult to put everybody together in one go. We've kind of had a summer window in January, and there's no pre-season friendlies to put them all together. But even in pre-season, you win games. Even in pre-season, you win some matches. Can I get a win, Joel? Like, just one? Because if we don't win another game, then it's going to become an untenable position. You have to win some football matches. No one's expecting a 10-game run or, champagne football every single week, but you have to win some games. One game.
I think you got to crawl before you walk, because you can't even get a goal at the moment, bro.
It's mad, honestly. Like, when we hired Graham Potter, it was all about the attack. It was all about changing the attack and making sure that we create more chances. And now what we're trying to do is we've switched up the whole attack. We've brought in 3-4 new attackers, and we're still not able to score the goals. We're creating some chances. People are talking about XGFC, do you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, that's all well and good, but we have to put points on the board. And the way I'm looking at this team at the moment is, if we can't beat Southampton at home, a managerless Southampton, who our manager said prepared very well, their caretaker manager said they didn't have time to do tactics. I mean, I don't know how much more shambolic it can get. That is statistically the easiest fixture on the calendar when they're at home and they're playing bottom of the league and you don't win. I mean, that for me is just, you have nowhere to run from that. Like, where's the next 3 points coming from? It's tough.
Let's look at some of the players that you've bought. I saw your review a couple of weeks ago. You were impressed with Enzo coming in. You think that he's playing a little bit too deep, correct?
Yeah, he's playing too deep for me. I think there's an imbalance in the midfield. Look at Jorginho, who's now at Arsenal. He's the deepest midfielder for most of our season. Then he goes and breaks my heart. The transaction doesn't quite go through in terms of me paying him every week for an Arsenal dropping points. I'll make sure to move the money from the savings account into the normal account next time so it doesn't stall. But he punished me immediately for that and smacked it in the top corner. And when you look at our team now, I mean, it was Cover and Enzo at the last match. That neither of them are sitters. You look at how important that position is, Partey, Casemiro, Rodri, all these players, and there's an imbalance there. But even with an imbalance, just because a team's not perfect doesn't mean you can't win football matches. Management, by definition, means that you have to manage situations, even if they're not quite going in your favour, if there's some issues. But you have to get through it and get results, some results. And right now we're not doing that.
I wanna look at your goals again. I know I made a joke about it earlier on, but if you look at your top goal scorers in all competition, you got Sterling on 6 goals, Havertz on 6 goals, Aubameyang, who hasn't played since a 9-minute cameo in January against Liverpool, he's got 3 goals. Mount has 3 goals, and now Jorginho, who's at Arsenal, has 3 goals.
He took the penalties. I mean, when you look at the players that we signed, Madueke, Mudryk, Felix, none of them have clear goal output on a consistent basis. But one thing that we do need to do, and some Brighton fans have even been saying to me, maybe we just need to create some just ridiculously clear-cut chances. I'm talking you're walking the ball in at this point. You can't miss, because clearly shooting is an issue. It's been an issue for years. Like, when Tuchel was here, we was talking about defenders are bailing out Chelsea, Reece James, Chilwell. They're not getting goals from attackers, and now we're still in the same situation where attackers are not firing. How much I can't stand here and tell you more money needs to be thrown at this. This is ridiculous. We're 10th, and we can't get a win. And I think it's something like 2 wins in the last 15 games, and it's at the moment, statistically, probably the worst performing Chelsea manager in recent modern times in terms of his start. He has to start winning games, regardless of how much I want to give longevity and time and stability at the club to a manager. As much as I would like to ideally have a manager get a pre-season and have a full season to really judge them, to integrate players more than just over 3-4 matches in terms of new signings. If you do not win some games and we get too close to the bottom 7, 8, 6, your position is untenable. Everybody knows that word at work. Untenable. There's nothing we can do. Nothing we can do for you.
If this was Abramovich,
if this was Abramovich, he would honestly probably never have been hired. I mean, I said it on my channel that Potter was kind of just thrown at the Chelsea fan base. Tuchel was sacked. That was a tough for a lot of people to take. He's done a lot for the club. He's, and he made a massive connection with the fans. 24 hours later, Potter's in charge. We didn't even get time to go through short lists, to think about, let's go through the different managers that we would all like. Let's have conversations about it. 24 hours later, Potter is in the room.
But
Not in Ketia.
That's probably because they had already earmarked him.
Yeah, and it's like now the fan base have kind of had to just accept it and just get behind him, which is what you do when any new face comes into the club. But I think the issue with him is that there's no track record at this elite level. So we're playing guessing games. Yes, at Brighton he did a very good job, 9th place. At Ostersund's he did a good job. I think he played you boys. but at this level he's untested in terms of, can he handle the pressure? Can he handle the egos? Can he change his methodology of switching systems every couple of games at Brighton, where at Chelsea, where you play 2 games a week, you don't have the training time to maybe do that? Can you handle the different competitions? That is the question, and we're only going to find out literally right now.
So time has to be...
It has to be given, but I believe that in any process or project, along the way, you have to show marks of progression. If I'm building your house and I'm laying down the foundations and you can see that I'm doing the foundations incorrectly or that I'm not making progress in a quick enough time, you won't let me finish building the house and charge you the 50, 60, 70 grand. You're going to stop me and be like, what are you doing? So at the same time, as much as I call for stability, I call for a lack of, reaction, of we're going to just hire fire, change players, change ownership. We've had everything changed in the space of the last 12 months. We have to see some wins. You have to win some football matches. Nobody can say that it's not excusable to be going and losing every single game to the end of the season. That's just inexcusable. Doesn't make any sense.
So obviously you lost the first leg to Dortmund in the Champions League. You got the return leg coming up. Are you confident?
Confidence is not something I have at the moment. I do not have much confidence about anything. But I mean, again, that's another game that we should be able to turn around. Chelsea should be able to turn that around.
Chelsea should.
But this is
Adeyemi's injured as well.
Yeah. But this is not the normal. I mean, there'll be no fufu coming, and ruining our day with the Enzo pace that he showed there. Woo, you know what I'm saying?
That was horrible.
It was horrible to watch, honestly.
Especially on your most expensive player. Obviously it doesn't define who he is as a player, but how he was left exposed in that situation.
I mean, we should never have left him in that position. Do you know what I mean? It was precarious, but we should be turning that around. Chelsea of normal to Chelsea of old, we're turning that around. This is a Chelsea currently that I don't recognise. There's so many issues. I mean, literally last game there was no effective press, there was no good build-up play. I know there were changes made to the team, but there had been no continuation of what we'd seen against Dortmund and West Ham to say we're still moving in the direction. It felt like we took 3 steps back. So at this point, I can't predict anything, or I'm just praying.
Do you know what's mad? I saw you rest certain players against Southampton. But yet, despite the Champions League game, the actual next league game is Tottenham.
Yeah, I think...
Can you explain that for me? That was a bit...
Yeah, Reece James, Silva, a few of the players, medical reasons, they decided to take them out of the team because it would have been a risk to start them. They could have got injured, which is fair enough. They've accumulated a lot of minutes. We know Reece James has kind of suffered with injuries. But there were still certain decisions in-game that I just didn't get, which again led me to be so angry with Potter. Having Mason Mount at some point as a second striker, it was almost like he was going up for headers and he was in the box as our only focal point. Taking off Fofana, you didn't bring on Kai Havertz, who would have been an aerial threat to a degree. Starting Azpilicueta and not Trevor Chalobah, who'd been playing very well prior to Reece James's injury. Even Mason Mount starting on the wing, in this match. There's just so many things that we did, and it was just like...
You're frustrated, basically.
It just didn't make any sense, and it was like, we have to learn along the way. If you're going to learn along the way, you have to make sure you don't make the same mistakes over and over again, because we can't keep losing these football matches. I mean, to lose to a managerless team is insane.
Somehow Tottenham are 4th, despite their dodgy form up and down the season. Do you reckon that's still a winnable game for you?
It doesn't feel like it, to be honest. It doesn't feel like a winnable game. I think this is a type of match where we need to win. Every single game we need to win. But Tottenham, they always find a way. Whether it's in the second half, whether it's Harry Kane bailing them out. I think their position right now is kind of shocking, isn't it? It's like they haven't been playing well for most of the season. Their manager, when he's not in the dugout, obviously he's got health issues. They seem to be winning without him. But when he's there, they don't have any defensive solidarity. They're conceding loads of goals. So, but look at us. Look at us. Do we look any better? No, we look awful. So it's a winner. Everything's a winnable game, but for us, nothing is at the moment. We struggle with everything.
So the final question is going to be, what's your prediction for both games, Dortmund and Tottenham?
My prediction for Tottenham, my honest prediction, and this is as good as I can give you, is a 0-0.
Dortmund?
No, Tottenham away. And Dortmund at home, I believe it's going to be 1-0 and it's going to go to extra time. And I'm not going to lie, I could see a Jude Bellingham nasty goal.
Well, you know what? Your thoughts might change anyway.
I hope so.
Really soon. But you know what? We're going to do this catch-up. We're going to try to make it more weekly and obviously get you in the studio with the guys as well. Yeah. Really loving the content. Like I said, excellent video last time that you did for us. And we look forward to having you on again on
Appreciate
5.
it.
Thank you, Matisse. Guys, make sure you like, share, comment and subscribe. Joel Beya signing out outside Stamford Bridge. We'll be back soon. Peace.